Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Better Days Films. It's your boy Z, and I'm back with another video. So just like we did a few weeks ago when I went to the Renaissance Fair and I brought y'all along with me, we're going to do the same thing again today. I am going to Washington, D.C., check out this exhibit that I've been wanting to check out for the last 2 years, do some other things in D.C. because I've never been to Washington, D.C., like to really see Washington, D.C. I've been there before, but it was for an event, and then I left later that night, but I really didn't get to see Washington, D.C., but we are going to do that today, and just like I said, I'm bringing y'all along with me, so let's go. Whew. Finally made it to Washington, D.C. 2 hour and something drive. Wasn't so bad, just kind of long, but we are here. Made it to the exhibit. Let's see what it's all about. Yeah, King Tut exhibit. See what this is all about. Here we go, guys. Got the VIP. The VIP. And so we get a poster after the event too, so after the tour, I mean. So let's see.
If you've pressed number 1, then I expect you're standing in front of a stone with a lot of written signs. I'll tell you what's so important about this stone. It was what a scientist once used to crack the secret of hieroglyphs. Hieroglyphs are what we call the writing of the ancient Egyptians. This stone was discovered in 1799 at a place where the river Nile flows into the sea, near the town of Rosetta, and that's why it's called the Rosetta Stone. It was found by the soldiers of the French general Napoleon. Just the year before, he'd set off for Egypt with an enormous army. The soldiers stared in wonder at the strange inscription. They couldn't work out what the hieroglyphs meant. At that time, not even scientists could do that, no matter how hard they tried. Now then, this is where we can discover something. Take a good look. On the smooth surface of the stone, you can see 1, 2, 3 paragraphs. The upper one looks like a picture puzzle, but it's ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. The middle paragraph shows smaller characters. The scientists couldn't decipher them any more than they could the ones above them. Today we know that that's how Egyptians, a few priests in ancient Egypt, found so important that they had them carved into stone.
That's cool.
Nice, cool exhibit. I'm into all this stuff.
It lies opposite the modern city. That's where we Egyptologists all the kings of the resplendent dry desert era were buried across the river from the modern city, Luxor. Many kings were buried here. For 400 years, this deep valley, the Valley of the Kings, was the graveyard of the pharaohs. So then, after a couple of years, you've dug everything over, sieved every grain of sand, and your site looks like a moonscape. Only you haven't found anything. You feel disappointed and give your permit back. That's exactly what an American discoverer did in 1914. Someone else had been waiting for just that. Howard Carter. Howard first came to Egypt as a 17-year-old, first as a draftsman or technical artist, and then he became head of excavations. But he was always firmly best known of all the pharaohs, an international superstar, eternally young and beautiful, because he died as a young man, perhaps even as the result of a tragic accident. This statue was found in 1903, almost 20 years before the discovery of his tomb. At first sight, you couldn't see that it was Tutankhamun, because the name engraved on it reads Horemheb. This Horemheb was a well-known general and commander-in-chief of the army, who later became pharaoh himself. But the researchers took a very close look, and they discovered that the name of Horemheb originally had another name underneath it, one which someone had probably rubbed out, or, to be more accurate, they chipped it off with a hammer and chisel. The researchers finally found the other name on the back, Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun? Never heard of it. The researchers shook their heads and tugged on their mustaches. Who was it then? The Horemheb they knew about? Or this unknown Tutankhamun? The researchers had to think and finally found an explanation. In ancient times, the figure had probably stood with its back against a wall or a pillar, and the people who'd been so nervy as to chisel the name of Tutankhamun off the front of the statue hadn't noticed the name on the back. But there was still one question. Who had the order to chip away the real name and replace it with Horemheb's? What probably happened was this. The mighty Horemheb was one of Tutankhamun's successors to the throne of the pharaohs. He wanted to rub out the name of Tutankhamun from the history of Egypt and ordered his people to have all the statues and monuments of the king before him destroyed. But things didn't quite work out that way, which was lucky. Soon the researchers came across other traces. A small blue cup, for example, once again with the name of a
I love all this. I love all this.
The few indications found refer to him as the physical son of the king, meaning that Akhenaten must have been his father. Amenhotep III, Tutankhamun's grandfather, is one of the most dazzling rulers of the New Kingdom. He rules Egypt for almost 40 years and brings an unprecedented period of cultural flourishing, prosperity, and stability to the land of the Nile. Amenhotep III is the richest man in the world. No king of the 18th dynasty has as many monumental temples, statues, and palaces built throughout the country as he does. An outstanding example is the Temple of Luxor. His son Akhenaten, however, is responsible for the most radical changes that ancient Egypt. The former Vizier I marries the last of the royal family and takes on the office of pharaoh. When the Vizier also dies, his longtime opponent and supreme military general, Horemheb, ascends to the throne of Egypt. His policies initiate a radical upheaval. Horemheb wipes out all traces of his predecessors from the archives and monuments. For this reason, there were few remaining traces of Tutankhamun. It is only 3,000 years later that Tutankhamun's magnificent burial treasure turns the short-lived and forgotten king into the most famous of all Egyptian pharaohs.
King Tut's treasures.
Under the couch of the lion's head stands a small throne made of ebony, which Tutankhamun probably used during his childhood. Under the other bed, which is decorated with a cow-headed goddess, lies some strange white, egg-shaped containers. These were probably used for storing food in the afterlife. And at the back, in the left-hand corner, is a sumptuous treasure, a small gilded shrine.
But what we saw under the hippopotamus took our breath away. It was the magnificent gilded throne of the king.
His treasures.
Overlaid from top to bottom with gold and richly ornamented with glass and inlaid stones.
It was this room that was broken into by two robbers, probably soon after the burial of the pharaoh.
In the left-hand corner lay a carelessly stacked heap of parts of dismantled ornamental chariots, gleaming with golden inlays. The plunder
They look like guardians. They seem to be watching over a mysterious room hidden behind the wall. It was here that Carter discovered the locked opening in the wall. In great suspense, he opened it up.
And now, if you're ready, we'd like to show you what Carter found behind this next wall.
after discovering the tomb on the 17th of February 1920.
Coffin chamber.
Once we had made a sufficiently large opening, we stood before a golden wall. This wall revealed itself to be all enshrouded in the chamber. It was just enough room to enter. The four walls of the chamber were decorated with ornaments. We recognized among us that the number of rooms was so small, however, that they immediately had to take out the tracks behind the little wagon so as to relay them in front of it. And all this in the blistering heat of Egypt.
Once the objects had reached the arm, they were loaded onto the ship and taken to the museum in Cairo.
After the dismantling of the four shrines, the stone sarcophagus finally stood before us. Once we had carefully raised the lid with angle irons and willows, the interior was revealed. And there we discovered another remains of a dark colored lid. When we had removed the lid of the coffin, a second, even more magnificent coffin was revealed. At first, we were unable to open the lid of this coffin. Once again, we had to install a specially elaborated system of pulleys so as to lift the second coffin out of the first one. We were extremely surprised by the enormous weight of the coffin. We laid thick planks on the sarcophagus so that we could its head covered by an enigmatic golden mask. Everything else, the sight of hair and too, the heat, the sweat, the inexpressible effort, the exhausting work in the crash chamber. I was happy. Never before had anyone found such a completely preserved Pharaoh's tomb. Never before had anyone witnessed such wonderfully crafted works, which had been slumbering here for 1,000 years. My loss was the many years of hoping and working had all been for naught. Because with all this, our knowledge of ancient Egypt had been incredibly enriched.
Let's not move on to the third, which is the treasure, and which holds the record of the pharaoh.
Ah, que parece.
Augustus would protect the shrine that holds the eternal ones. Their names are Isis, Nephthys, and Selma.
That's cool. This is cool.
That's really cool.
Wow. Wow.
That's the cool part. Yeah, this is what I was waiting to go in.
Oh, 5.
Oh, we need to press 5. I forgot.
Remember this? When the discoverer Howard Carter had removed the wall between the antechamber and burial chamber, he saw the golden wall of the biggest shrine right in front of him. That's the one we've set up for you here. It's huge, over 6 meters long and almost 4 high, or around 20 feet long and 13 feet high. This mighty shrine was of course intended to protect the dead king, but not only that, it represents a sort of ceremonial hall. The ancient Egyptians thought the dead pharaoh could hold councils there with his government in the afterlife. Have a good look at the doors. Even the smallest bit of decoration has a meaning, like the inlaid pattern of blue faience, which is a sort of ceramic. It has certain signs on it that always appear in pairs. The round one, for instance, is what's known as an Isis knot. It gives protection to the resurrected king, Isis is an important goddess. The other sign belongs to the god of resurrection, Osiris. We'll be seeing quite a lot of Isis and Osiris. Why don't you have a look now into the inside of the shrine, there where the doors stand open?
Okay, now this one is 6.
What number are we at? Number 6?
Yeah.
The sketch on the floor of the shrine was drawn by Howard Carter to represent the way the 4 shrines fitted into each other in the burial chamber. On the opposite wall, in the depths of the shrine, is the gleam of a gold relief that tells an ancient story. It's so exciting that I just have to tell it to you. It's all about the sun god Ra. There was once a time when the gods lived on Earth together with the people. The sun god Ra was king of the gods, and at the same time the king of the humans. But when Ra eventually became old and weak, the people made an alliance against him. At this, Ra called all the gods together and had a council with them. The decision was unanimous. Ra should send his fiery eye to the people in order to destroy them. This punishment was to be carried out by a goddess called Hathor. To do this, she took on the form of the furious lion goddess, Sekhmet. Now Sekhmet fought so ferociously against the humans that Ra started to feel sorry for them. But how was he to stop the raging goddess? Ra thought up a trick. Thousands of jugs of beer were brought, and then colored with red dust and poured out all over a field. Sekhmet thought it was human blood, and she greedily slurped up the whole lake of beer. Luckily, that got her so drunk that she couldn't recognize the humans properly anymore. Humanity had been saved, but Ra still felt bitter. He withdrew himself from the world and climbed on the back of the goddess Nut. She was in the form of a cow, and he had her carry him up into the heavens. It's certainly no coincidence that the artists chose this story in particular. It was intended to be a warning, because Tutankhamun's father, Akhenaten, had renounced all the ancient gods of Egypt and only allowed one god to be worshipped. The burial chamber are decorated with beautiful paintings. If at the moment you're standing in front of the open door of the outer shrine, then please turn around to face the picture that you'll find directly behind you. In it, you can see the king's mummy under a canopy being taken to its tomb by 12 high officials. The canopy and the mummy are standing on a sledge that is being pulled over the sand of the desert. The ancient Egyptians believed that the young pharaoh would become a god himself after his death. They imagined that Tutankhamun would then unite with the goddess of the sky. The background of all the pictures is golden yellow, like the light of the sun that will light the king's way in the darkness of the underworld. Can you see the rope with which the officials are pulling the sledge with the dead king? If you follow the rope with your eyes, it takes you straight on to the next picture. Just go around to the left a bit. On this wall, you'll see a story in pictures that just this once, you're supposed to look at the other way around. In other words, from right to left. The story takes place in the kingdom of the dead. First, the dead Tutankhamun is received by a man who's wearing the skin of a lion or cheetah. This is the figure of a man called Ai. This Ai was a fatherly advisor to Tutankhamun during his lifetime. Here he's already being depicted as his successor with a royal crown. He stands before Tutankhamun's mummy, which in this picture looks like the god of resurrection, Osiris. Ai is pointing a magical tool towards the mummy. It will help Tutankhamun to use his senses again in the kingdom of the dead. He'll be able to eat and drink again then as well. We call this magical moment the opening of the mouth. After this, Tutankhamun is welcomed to the hereafter by Nut, the goddess of the sky. Nut is the mother of the sun god Ra. You've probably noticed that Tutankhamun is now shown without his mummy bandages and holding a scepter and royal mace.
So far, I've been loving everything about this tour so far, and everything has been great. Know it just started, but they put a lot of time into this, and I understand everything is not the actual artifacts and their replicas, but they did an amazing job so far, and I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. Like I said, I'm into this stuff. I'm into all the Egypt stuff. I watch a lot of documentaries and stuff about Egypt, mummies, and things like that. I love it. Great tour so far. I'm loving this. I'm loving this.
Here we can see at a glance how the young pharaoh Tutankhamun was laid to rest in a fourfold shrine that was intended to protect him on his way to the kingdom of the dead. We can only wonder at the way all the shrines were fitted into each other. Always a bigger shrine built around a smaller one. Over all the entrances we can see a winged sun disk. They tell us that here in his tomb the king has been transformed into the divine sun. And so the king and the sun are now united. The shrines are made of wood. The ancient Egyptian artists covered the surfaces outside and inside with a fine layer of plaster and then overlaid them with gold leaf. The two longer sides on the second shrine represent some of the most interesting scenes in Egyptian art. It's before this second shrine that we're standing now. Again, it's all about secret divinities of the underworld. Most of the inscriptions are in a kind of code. Carter and his professional colleagues couldn't read them at the time, and even today there are still some details that haven't been decoded. The golden image of Tutankhamun was just a lid. Inside the sarcophagus was another golden mummiform coffin that filled it completely. It was so big that Carter expected to find even more coffins inside it. And he was right. In total, there were 3 coffins nested one inside the other. You can see them in front of you now. Although they're set up beside each other, each coffin fit precisely into the next. Each coffin lid shows the image of the king. Of course, the artist made the look especially beautiful. Tutankhamun is wrapped in a feather robe. The signs of the king. If you look closely, you'll see a couple of differences. On the gilded outer coffin, the king wears a 3-part wig under a headcloth. He's already depicted as a god here. Carter even found withered flowers in the coffins, which had been given to the dead king more than 3,000 years ago for his journey into the afterlife. Perhaps a parting gift from the young widow to her beloved husband. On the second coffin, you'll probably notice the inlays of colored glass. No doubt they were intended to please the dead pharaoh with their colors and the darkness of the tomb. But perhaps they also hint at the shimmering feathered robe of the falcon, who represents the sun god here. The inner coffin is also made of solid gold. It weighs 110 kilos. That's 242 pounds.
With all almost the elements of our dead immortality, we stood before the mountain of the king. Mysterious.
The face of the mummy was covered with a gleaming gold mask. At upper thigh level, Carter and his colleagues once more found the vulture and serpent emblems. Countless armbands adorned his lower arms. 2 crossed hands of polished sheet gold gripped the royal symbols. Under them, a box. Have a good look at the gold mask. What is it trying to tell us? Is the face expressing joy, or sorrow over a young life that came to an end far too soon. We'll never know for certain, but one thing we do know is that the mask is 3,000 years old and has the celebrated face of a world-famous pharaoh. The gold mask of Tutankhamun weighs 11 kilograms, or a bit more than 24 pounds, and has an exceptional splendor and unimaginable value. That's just how he was intended to appear for eternity. The eyes look so lifelike because they're made from light-colored quartz. Within it lie the shining pupils of obsidian. Obsidian is a volcanic igneous glass. There's a lot on the gold mask that suggests the sun. The mask's headdress is an image of the blue sky with golden sunbeams shining through it. The multicolored neck collar reflects the play of color from the rising sun on the morning of every new day. Since the first photos of the gold mask traveled around the world, people have always asked whether the mask really represents the face of Tutankhamun as it looked during the lifetime of the young king. Probably not. That's what a lot of Egyptologists like me believe. The gold mask of the young pharaoh is probably just an idealized portrait of his real face. Whatever the case, it's a masterpiece. On the back of the mask is a mysterious magic spell from the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead. In it, various different parts of the pharaoh's head are compared with deities that are supposed to protect it. Tutankhamun now possesses eternal kingship, like the sun god Ra.
Howard Carter discovered about 150 amulets and other pieces of jewelry within the bandages of Tutankhamun's mummy alone. He found additional jewelry in some of the chests and boxes. From later mummies, we know that the amulets were placed over the body according to a fixed pattern in order to guarantee the magical protection of various body parts and organs. Countless amulets, collars, and pectorals were strung around the neck in particular and secured with thin linen threads. On the chest of the mummy, directly below the mask, lay two crossed hands made of polished gold plate holding royal insignia. The hands were sewn onto the mummy casing. A scarab beetle made from resin was embedded between them. Beneath this, a ba bird with a human head unfurls his wings. This ba rested in the body at night.
Time and again, Carter and his colleagues came across surprises. For instance, a simple wooden box that at first they paid no attention to. But when they finally opened it, they found two small coffins. Each coffin contained a gilded inner coffin. They were the coffins of babies. In the first coffin, they found the tiny body of a child born too early, a girl. This premature infant was wrapped up like a little mummy. On her head, she wore a mask of gilded paper mache much too big for her. In the second inner coffin lay the wrapped and mummified body of a second girl.
A plane crashed
This
into
child had died at birth or shortly afterwards. We Egyptologists think that these two are the children of Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun is of course always portrayed as a victorious king and commander. This is why his tomb was also equipped with all the necessary weapons. all of them wonderfully decorated and of high quality. Whether he ever actually took part in a military campaign is something we don't know. What we do know is that the pharaoh was supposed to protect the country against enemies.
Carter and his team found a lot of furniture in the tomb because the Egyptians imagined the afterlife as a mirror image of this world. The king's clothing, footwear, and jewelry were stored in about 50 chests. The ornate inlays on some of the chests are made from thousands of small individual pieces of ivory and ebony. In the areas between the inscription bands on this chest, you can see a pattern of hieroglyphic symbols. They signify supreme life and power.
Oh, I love all this. I love all this. I love museums.
There it is, the pharaoh's throne, the golden throne of Tutankhamun. Doesn't it look magnificent? So that's how you show your power. Take a quick trip back 3,000 years and try to imagine the picture. There's the young pharaoh enthroned in the middle. To the left and the right of the king stand bearers with big fans. They're fanning fresh air toward Tutankhamun. Oh, that's good in the Egyptian heat, while unwelcome delegations from enemy peoples have to stand around in the hot sun. On some days in the summer, the temperature could rise well over 40 degrees Celsius. That's 104 degrees Fahrenheit. That was the force of the sun god who bestowed his power on the king. The power those delegations were going to feel now. The big fans included ostrich feathers, by the way. On their handles, we can recognize the names of the king and scenes of an ostrich hunt. Of course, Howard Carter was also imagining what the whole thing must have looked like then. Here you can see the incomparably sumptuous insignia of power, the scepters. Only with their help can Tutankhamun carry out the responsible office of pharaoh and maintain a link with the gods. They're why the pharaoh is imbued with divine powers in the eyes of his subjects. Of the scepters, the flail and crook are the best known insignia of the power of the pharaohs.
Got a free poster with our VIP. This is the gift shop. I got this poster right there. Yeah. Gift shop. Things. Ooh, what's this over here? Well, that's cool. Some purses, some mugs. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Okay, guys, just left the exhibit. Said free poster. But yeah, that was cool. You know, like I said, I'm really into, you know, the Mummy stuff. Like my favorite movie, one of my favorite movies is The Mummy. So definitely, you know, enjoyed that exhibit. It's in Washington D.C. If you want to check it out, I think you should. It was a really, really good time. And now it's time to see what else you're going to get into. At the Lincoln Memorial Museum, apparently it's being updated. Got a new one coming in 2026. Never been here before. First time here. That looks awesome. Wow. First time here. First time here. That's what I'm all about, enjoying life. Walking up the stairs to the Lincoln Memorial. First time here, first time walking up these steps. Just taking everything in. Definitely enjoying every single moment of this. Like I said, never seen a Lincoln Memorial in person before. Always on TV and on movies. So, first time here, I'm just taking everything in. This temple has the hearts of the people who were saved in the Union in memory of Abraham Lincoln. Wow. Finally get to see this in person. Finally get to see this in person. This is great. Finally get to see this in person. And this is apparently a new museum is coming in 2026, but this is great. So guys, glad I got to see it before all the changes. Wow, this is great. This is great. That was freaking cool. Never got to see the Lincoln Memorial in person. This was my first time, and that was amazing. I only seen it, in the usual, in movies, TV shows, but finally got to see it with my own two eyes, and I'm actually looking forward to what the changes, stuff they're making for the new museum in 2026. Washington, D.C. This is great. Oh, shit. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. That is great. Oh, I didn't realize that all the states are up there. Now it's hard to see. Let me get a shot as good as I can, guys. But yeah, that's amazing. One last shot, guys. Hey, I'm not running up them steps. Last shot, guys. It's amazing. Amazing. Got this nice Lincoln Memorial Cup. Very, very nice. Having a very good day. I know I say that a lot. One last look. Off to the next. Have a good time, bro.
Always a good time with you.
Yeah, guys. We're at the Arlington National Cemetery.
Let's stable. It closes at 5, so you can see the switch of the other bar.
Sounds like a plan. currently at the Arlington National Cemetery. Of course, never been here either. We're on the way to watch the soldier change. This is wow. This is wow. So many. Wow. Just all around. Wow, like just crazy, like all the way back there. This is wow. There's so many.
We're not that far away.
This is just wow. Just like I said before, there's so many.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? I am Sergeant Fromba of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, United States Army, Commander of the Relief, 2 of the Unknown Soldier. The ceremony that you are about to witness is the changing of the guard. In keeping with the dignity of this ceremony, it is requested that everyone remain silent and standing. Left, shoulder, out. Forward, march. Good. Halt. Forward. March. Guards. Halt. Port! Arms! Ready! Face! Present! Arms! Port! Arms! Ready? Face! Pass! On your orders.
Halt and orders. Remain as directed. Orders. Acknowledge.
Ready? Face! Present! Arms! Right shoulder! Arms! Post! Right! Face! Forward! March! Hello! Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention for one more moment, please? As of 5 p.m., Arlington National Cemetery is closed to the public, and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier becomes a restricted military post. Therefore, all visitors must exit the cemetery at this time. Please exit the cemetery to your left and return to the visitor center. Thank you.
Well, guys, that was the changing of the guards. That was something special. Changing of the guards and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Yeah, that was something special. Like, today has just been just amazing. Like, my first time really in DC, seeing things. It's been an amazing day. Got one more stop in our destination. I'm gonna go over to see the White House. Amazing day. The White House was supposed to be the last stop of the trip, but we got over to the area and there was some, I think like an accident or something happened. So it was cops, ambulance, and stuff out there, hardly anywhere to park. So we kind of just drove by like the White House area, but didn't get to stop. But yeah, today was a really great day and I enjoyed everything that I seen. The changing of the guard, the King Tut Museum, just everything. I enjoyed everything today, and hopefully I get to come back soon to see a lot more museums and to see a lot of other stuff in Washington, D.C. Definitely was a great trip. We ended up stopping in this place called Glory Days Grill in Maryland. Wanted to get some food, first time there, and it was like just a grill place with burgers, wings, the usual stuff, cheesesteaks and salads, other stuff. And I had got myself a drink, got my drink on. Just got a Corona with a Sprite. Got some honey garlic wings, burger with fries. Wings was good, burger was good. And then for dessert, got these Oreo churros with vanilla ice cream, and I went in on them. The food was good. That's it, guys. Heading back. DC was real fun. Saw a lot of great things today. Had good food in the night. Now heading back. Now it's time for my final thoughts. So guys, final thoughts. Today was amazing. Just amazing. DC, fun. Can't wait to go back and do other museums. But my final thoughts is I just loved it. Even though the King Tut Museum was replicas and not the actual artifacts, I still enjoyed it. Still enjoyed it. Like that, they went through this whole story of him, the guy that discovered him. I enjoyed all of it. Definitely going over to the Lincoln Memorial, definitely enjoyed that. And, going to the Arlington National Cemetery and seeing the tomb of the unknown soldier and the switching of the guard was amazing. Special. Loved it. Food I had tonight was good. I just had a good time. And today was a 10 out of 10 for me. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I love doing videos like this. And I'm just going to keep going and going on YouTube. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please follow me over on my social medias. I'll leave a link down there for them so y'all can check those out. But definitely follow me over on there. And this week starts Never Seen Cinema. My first time reactions. The very first episode will be the first Lord of the Rings. So definitely stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.